Hey everyone, and welcome to the SwiftCase Productivity Podcast. My name's Adam Sykes, founder of SwiftCase, the professional productivity platform. And today I've got with me
Craig McCarthy, development manager at SwiftCase.
And Phil Whitby, developer at SwiftCase.
Great. So today's one of our Room 404 episodes. So we're going to look at antiquated business practices. So things that we have seen or we don't like that businesses are doing, or the way that people operate in business, or even types of businesses, I suppose, that need to go into our Room 404, which is our homage to Room 101, but in a geeky technical kind of way that the 404, it's not been found anymore. So I don't know who wants to kick off today.
I've got a reel. I'd like to go first because we had this discussion the other day, and we've always wondered what the fate of shopping is going to be now with Amazon and everything online. And I think that really shops need to die a death anyway. And I think that the practice of having a physical shop to sell your items in is quite antiquated. And it's time we acknowledged that we don't need shops anymore. And
this one might be controversial.
I'll let
you
don't
need shops. Like, in effect, my belief is that they'll become like galleries anyway, like where people will go to just touch the product, because there is a functional use marketing wise to have people touch things because they're much more inclined to buy them.
Yeah.
But actually, relying on shops as a source of things to buy is unnecessary, especially with what the future, which will have less than 1 hour delivery, maybe even 20-minute delivery by drone. But the reason why I think this is really antiquated is because they've always been open at really inconvenient times, and unnecessarily making people work in these jobs as well. I mean, people will probably refer to commercial shops as a industry, a bit like we refer to coal mining and all these industry practices that people really have to suffer for no reason. Because they're open usually between sort of 8:30 and 5:30 or 5, and generally people can only get in at lunchtime, so they're probably really busy during this lunchtime period, and really busy a little bit before work. Most people are in work and can't shop for 90% of the time that shop's open. So I just think get rid of shops.
Okay, I think that is I think it's controversial. I think your idea about opening hours is definitely something I can get on board with, because I don't see the point. I know there's lots of people who are retired or maybe work from home or on their day off. I suppose people can go to the shops, and going at the weekend's a nightmare because it's so busy because everyone can actually get to the shops, and I hate crowded shops. I just want to get in and get out.
It's the worst thing in the world to me. At Christmas, I'm so glad I've cancelled Christmas shopping. Really, I do it all online.
You're gonna cancel Christmas?
No, although I would go to that extent to avoid those crowds. I've never seen anything like it in my life. I remember, it still haunts me. I remember going to HMV to buy my mum a Michael Bublé CD for Christmas, which she loved.
So it was worth it.
And HMV, that's a bit of a blast from the past, isn't it? I don't know if that's still around.
I think there's 3 of them.
Is there? But went in there, and it was at a time when HMV was full, and it was insane. It was absolutely insane. I thought, this is just not a fun experience. Christmas is supposed to be about happiness and joy, isn't it?
It's not. It's about economic.
But it's worse now, though. It's worse now because there's an alternative. So if I go into a shop, years ago, if I went into a shop and there was a queue, I'd be I'll be annoyed. There's a queue. Now I'm
walking straight out.
This is I'll put stuff back and not queue at all, because I know I can go home and get it on the internet and not queue, and it's bought. I don't even need to go home. I just get my phone out. I've ordered it from Amazon, and it's coming tomorrow for free delivery.
I don't want to keep name dropping shops, but Argos, they actually do fast track. And I love ordering from Argos because, first of all, they're open until about 8 o'clock around me, which is fantastic. But it means I can order something that I know is in the shop online. They reserve it for me. And you can go to the fast track desk. Which means that you go there, and I can see they must have some crazy SLA things there, because they're straight on it and they're straight over to me. And if they don't see me within 20 seconds, you can see everyone
alarms go off.
But what I've done before is I've gone in and I've seen people waiting around for stuff, and I've ordered something on the phone to get fast track. It comes in instantly, and I've just walked up and gone, can I order that, please? Perfect. And it didn't make any sense to me, people waiting around.
But then that's part of the issue, is that it's people just maintaining something for the sake of maintaining. Like people think the purchasing experience involves queuing, and it's probably just that legacy behaviour that doesn't need to exist. But I think they're only there shops now for people that are desperate or have a time limit beyond the delivery. That's what they're really there for. Like you probably only go in to buy something if you're like, either it's a generous act towards the business, you're like, oh, well, I like to keep them in business, or I'm just so desperate, I need to get something now. That's literally, they're the kind of situations, and once that desperation is met because the delivery speed is even faster, then you can walk to the shop.
I think there's partly that, but some of it sometimes is the browsing, isn't it? Like,
that's why I think the galleries.
We've moved on to like we do a lot of virtually all of our online food shopping now. We just do it.
You know what you're gonna get, don't you?
But actually putting together the shopping list, even though it's online, when you want different food each week, it's actually a pain, and it's hard going through and trying to find it. Whereas when you're in a shop, supermarket shopping, it would probably be easier to actually do the shopping part of it in the supermarket.
You logically go through the aisles, don't you? You go, I've forgotten the milk.
Whereas like on a website, you don't do that, do you? So it's not. That's probably an argument for better user experience on a website, or how maybe when we get to virtual reality shopping, which that would be something.
Do you know what I think? I actually really agree with you, Phil. Except when it comes to clothes and things that
you want to feel.
I haven't bought something but I haven't bought clothes in a shop for years. I think it's all ASOS.
I have, because I'm an awkward size. I'm tall but skinny. So like small stuff is just up there, but medium stuff makes me look like I don't know, I'm wearing my dad's clothes sometimes. And there's different sizes for different shops, and it's really frustrating. Now, thankfully, a lot of the online services have great returns, but I still find it annoying returning.
So that's when it gets a hassle, because then it's easier to go to the shop than to have to go to the post office or go to the drop off.
And the browsing experience there is quite pleasurable, except in certain places where it's too packed.
Or someone's hovering over you going, well, can I help you?
But this is where I agree with you with galleries, and I think that is probably where it's going to go in the future.
Kind of how Apple is, isn't it? You don't really. I mean, although you go to Apple to buy it, you kind of like, it's more of a showroom, isn't it?
There's no way you're going to go away and they're not going to get their money though, is there?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like if you go and buy an Apple computer in front of the shop, it's not like they lose out. So I think it'll be galleries for each brand. And then literally everyone, the others will have to acknowledge. Do you know what I mean? So you'll be like, I fancy that thing, but I know there's a brand gallery around here.
Like you're not going to buy aftershave, are you? If you've never smelt it, how do you do it on the internet? No, you can't. Like nowadays, you can't smell things, you can't touch them, you can, you can't feel them, you can't really see them and pick them up, can you? Because there's only so many like flat pictures that you can see from all the different angles of a product. There's some things you actually need to go like actually see how it looks and like tell what the actual material is and whether it's strong or whatever. If you're buying some furniture, it can look nice on the picture, but it might be like really flimsy or like material's thin or whatever. So there are some things you do need to physically go and see, but whether you actually need to then buy it there and try and carry it home, like especially if you're on public transport and you're going to buy chairs and stuff, it ends up getting delivered anyway, so what's the point in the shop? Half the things you buy in like a large shop you can't take home anyway. So I can see how it's going there, but I think the idea that we won't have shops at all, or that people don't want to physically go and see something,
maybe it'd be like vinyl. Vinyl never really disappeared. Like we're in this point now where shops are going the way vinyl did towards the 80s, and then they'll just sort of come back with a resurgence as people reevaluate what they want from like their lives, their experience, products and stuff like that.
But I think as well the user experience online will change as well, which will maybe
because all those things might happen. Like it might get to the point where the delivery is so quick and the return policy is so good that they can go, all right, in 10 minutes there'll be an article of clothing there in 5 different sizes.
I'm thinking
send
more
it back
about
on the same drive.
We still talk about the website. It's not really moved on that much from mail order catalogues, has it? The fact you scroll through a screen rather than you read a book and fill out a form. You type out the form rather than write with a pen.
Massively in
it's not really moved on, has it?
It's like when websites first came out and they made them look exactly like magazines. I feel like they've got the shopping experience down for actual products, like kind of electronics. That sort of stuff.
Spec.
But groceries where you're buying a large amount of things, it just isn't there yet.
I can see where virtual reality and augmented reality and
but maybe it's because the product doesn't line up with what you get. So for food, it's very difficult to go, there's some apples, and they're the apples I'm going to get.
Yeah.
Whereas with a CD or computer or another product, you go, that's what I'm going to get when you see it. And I think that misalignment is probably why
and they're not quite.
They're not going to die.
They're commodities, aren't they? Like food's a commodity, but it's not.
So
really, you go and you look at the apple and you go, I want those apples because they look nicer than those apples, rather than I want 6 apples. Yeah. Please click them, because you know the picture you're getting is not exactly. That's right.
It's like you're discerning. It's like you can't leave that to someone else. You can't delegate that task. To choosing the apples. That's something that you have to do, even if you're a millionaire.
Yeah.
You know, what I mean?
It's very So moving on to the next one. You mentioned hours.
Yeah.
So my sort of room 404 is work hours and like restricted work hours. The idea that everyone works 9 to 5 and that's somehow a working day, no matter what like your sort of background is, what's going on at home, what type of work you do. This idea that we have 9 till 5 or 9 till 5:30 or whatever, it's just
Presenteeism.
It just doesn't make any sense, does it? I mean, like, what if you've been up all night, like because you've had a newborn baby and like you've been, or you're looking after a sick relative. Why have you got to be in at 9 o'clock the next day?
We've said it before as well, haven't we, that certain people just do generally work better at certain hours. So, like, I mean, Alcus, he usually goes to the gym, doesn't he, before he comes in? So he gets in around 10 every morning, but he feels better because he's been in the gym. He's got the time to do it. I agree with this.
I think it's the key issue is that it's when it's difficult to measure performance, you become paranoid about performance, so you then sort of fall back on presenteeism. So
it's a proxy for
performance,
isn't it?
Because it's actually incredibly difficult.
And then you get people like want to push the boundaries because they want to use that as like, they become workaholics.
Exactly.
Like, I stayed till 7. But did you produce as much as someone in the same time period?
Isn't that a big issue they have in Japan, where like people literally are just competing with each other?
They just don't go home, do they? In Japan, like you're in work more than you're ever at home, and you even they even have like social occasions.
That's right.
Where you go out as a team of workers, and like you have to get drunk with them, and like you never see your family. It's just like
it's like a really rigid, formalised structure.
That's like the opposite of what I want. So I think people. I'm all about productivity, whether you're in or you're not, as long as the actual work's been produced and it's of a high quality. How you do it, when you do it, where you do it, doesn't matter. And I think there's something we need to this idea. It's like the school holiday situation, isn't it? Comes from like days of having harvest, so we needed to have 6 weeks off in the summer to do harvesting.
See, I see the shops being similar. It's like the reason we have. Like what you're talking about would actually make shopping better, because people could go at different parts of the day. That would validate having the shops open between 9 and 5 or whatever. Because then, so what we're doing is it's like the hangover from all this normalcy or whatever is that people are just carrying on regardless, despite the technology enabling you to have a completely different life. Yeah. And I think if you can blaze a trail, then maybe others will follow. Yeah. I mean, that's all you can do, isn't it?
It sounds to me like what we want to get rid of is rigid structures.
Really.
But my one, very similar really, is I'm not too bothered as long as the work gets done. And you feel comfortable doing it, you're getting the best out of yourself. That's why I don't believe in these dress codes. Now, I'm going to contradict myself a little bit here, because I do believe that you should enforce somewhat of a dress code when it comes to the likes of shops. Because it needs to be clear to the consumer that those people work there. But I think if you're working in the likes of an office and maybe your clients aren't constantly coming in and things like that, you shouldn't really need to enforce a dress code. I think as long as it's not offensive, it's not harming anyone, then it's fine. Does it really matter what type of shoes you wear?
I suppose it's an explicit dress code, isn't it? Because I suppose I wouldn't say that we have a dress code, but I suppose we have an understanding that it's an implicit, appropriate dress code. So if you're going to be in the office by yourself, it doesn't really matter what you want to wear, it's up to you. But if you know you're going to meet a client, then there would be an expectation that you would not go in like shorts and like flip flops to go and meet a client, because you're representing the
brand,
company.
And it's marketing, isn't it? Really. But I think if you're kind of isolated away from from customers. I'm thinking if you're working like a call centre or something like that, or you are in an office where it's just the staff, if you feel comfortable wearing a particular, set of clothes, then do it, because you're going to get the best out of yourself.
But I think also, again, like maybe contradicting what we've already said, I think if someone's good at their job, we shouldn't be reinforcing the negative sort of stereotypes about the way people dress either. So if someone's like, the big one for this is maybe not dress so much, but maybe, like we've heard about teachers not being allowed to teach because they've got too many tattoos, or they've got piercings or whatever. But if they're a good teacher, why does it matter? And if we stop people from seeing these people because that's a bad image, we're only reinforcing that as being a bad image because they never see any people who are a good teacher who happens to have tattoos.
Or paramedic or something.
Yeah, exactly, where it doesn't matter. And
you're almost self-fulfilling prophecy then, isn't it?
Exactly. So there is an aspect of that, which is why I think I kind of have this thing about, I'm against explicit dress codes. So the likes of, there's been a lot of trouble recently, hasn't there? Like there's been some companies like telling women you need to wear high heels. I mean, that's just like totally it's an offensive dress code to expect people to wear specific clothes, to tell people you need to wear these clothes or you need to do this, because that's what we expect as our image. But if you just said to people, dress appropriately for your job, then I think that's a fair dress code, and that it's still a dress code, but it's not as
I think it's a byproduct
explicit.
of micromanagement and like anxiety on a sort of like boardroom level, that every aspect needs to be controlled for success, for ultimate success. And that really, like, the idea of like having your tendrils throughout the whole company and be it micromanaging, that thing that needs to die. Then people need to bring the culture.
I think you can't control the culture. Back to education as well, because you've got like school uniforms and stuff. In fact, I remember, I don't want to quote this, but I remember at my school, I think girls, it was like a kind of, maybe when I was in year 8 or something, I think only then they allowed them to wear trousers rather than like skirts, and it's mad that that's like a thing, really, that's even a rule.
Some schools where the guys have been going in skirts, haven't they, to like
I would
make a mockery of the
absolutely
make a mockery of the things. But,
so what I'm saying is, I'm going to come into work in a skirt and we're going to test your implicit.
I'm not bothered at all. To be honest, I think most of the clients we work with would not be bothered either.
Exactly.
I think that's the type of people.
But there's no point testing, is there?
Like, it all comes down to marketing as well, though, because sometimes, I know in the past where I feel like I think a client would appreciate that I didn't come in a full suit to go and meet them,
because they associate that with phoniness.
Exactly. Whereas there's some where they would, and it's kind of just gauging.
There's some industries, aren't there, though, where like you couldn't go into the city of London. If our clients were like in the city of London, like financial companies or certainly legal firms, that's like shirt and tie every day, suit and tie every day.
The head of a global super tech company where you can turn up.
But that's what I'm saying. It's an industry. So like tech company, like we've talked about this, I think before, with Silicon Valley and like the hoodies and like the sort of like. It sounds very British. It's the slovenly dress.
The slovenly, I like it.
The way that actually suggests that, well, look, I haven't got time to shop because I'm too busy focused on the product. Why am I directing my attention towards wearing a suit and dress when I should be, working on like the actual what I offer you and the value that I offer you. The value I offer you is not the fact that I wear a suit. Is the fact that the product or the service I offer, that's what matters.
Almost like I'm not thinking about facing people. I'm just so committed to programming, web developing, that the idea of being front facing is anathema to my
But not even that, it's more that like, are you hiring me for my suit or do you want a good service? Would you rather I spend more of my time wearing a suit for you and picking out a nice tie, or would you rather our product and service was the best it could be for you? And I suppose that's another area where and authenticity.
Suggested authenticity.
And also some people feel like when you put on a suit, it's not because you have to, it's because that makes you feel like
that's the other
gives you
aspect of it, really. It's how it makes you feel.
Yeah.
But I don't think you should be restricted unless, of course.
And that different people have different things. And I suppose what we want to know is what other people think. So leave your comments down below in the comments section. About what you think about these 3 issues that we've covered today. So whether you think shops should go in the bin, whether you think working 9 to 5 is outdated, or whether you think that people telling you what to wear at work should be consigned to room 404. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, and don't forget to subscribe.
Yeah, and also check out what we do at swiftcase.co.uk, and also follow us on social media. Let us know what you think about all this at SwiftCase UK.
Great. Thanks for listening. I've been Adam Sykes, founder of SwiftCase, the professional productivity platform. I hopefully see you again next time.